All right. Hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Thank you once again for being part of the BCR Technique 30-Day Challenge, and here we are on day number 19. Now, again, if you're just tuning into this for the very first time, well, first of all, welcome. And you can work with the other episodes, going all the way back to day 0, through the BCR Technique playlist, which you'll find in the video description. So if you go to the video description, not only will you find some PDFs that will get you started with the BCR Technique and TC Technique, you'll also find the Telegram group link there as well too, which is a great support group and community group. And of course, you'll find the link for the playlist for the BCR Technique 30-Day Challenge. Now again, you do not have to cut things short just because I'm on day 19, right? You want to allot yourself with 30 days, right? So start off with day number 0 video and then just work your way up. And you're more than welcome to tune into these live webcasts as they happen, as long as you're just doing your 30 days, right? The important thing is that you're just doing the basic BCR technique at least once a day for 30 days. And that's where you're going to really feel a difference. All the things I'm teaching today about the advanced extension healing is something that is optional, right? You don't have to get into it right away. If you want to spend a whole month, right, just learning the BCR technique, or perhaps 2 months learning the BCR technique, go at your own pace, right? You may look at the extension healing and say, well, I don't know if I'm ready for that yet. And then you don't have to tackle it yet, right? But it's going to be here for you nonetheless as we do the 30-day challenge. All right. And welcome everybody who is on the chat here today. It's good to see everybody once again. So we will be doing a little bit of Q&A later on. So if you guys do have any questions in regards to what I share today, don't be shy. Feel free to put it in the chat. Again, the more that you make questions happen, the more it really helps me to refine the BCR technique a lot more, perhaps with certain things that I miss. So don't be bashful in asking questions. It's what makes the BCR technique even more refined as we do that together. Okay? All right. So today, as I was talking about, we're going to do a BCR demonstration with the example of extension healing. Okay? As I was talking about yesterday, is that you have variances of yourself, right? So you basically have, you could say, these alternate versions of you. I wouldn't say really alternate versions, but basically just different perspectives, right? So there's a 10-year-old you, there's a 15-year-old you, there's a 20-year-old you, right? And we're basically taking those variances of ourselves and we're putting them into the reinforcement space with us. So that's what we're going to do just basically as an example today, right? If you already have the idea of a variance that you want to put through the BCR technique today that you'd like to do along with me, then that's fine. You can certainly do that as well, all right? So also, as I was talking about these last couple of days, relating to the memory spiral, right? We're going to do an example of that today as well, working with the memory spiral and just seeing if there's any forms of memories that may come up that may be, again, kind of buried in the subconscious, right? And we're doing the memory spiral and we may feel like something does come up. If that does happen, give yourself time to withdraw from this live webcast and just go into that memory, right? And just try and write down in paragraph form what it is that you're experiencing. What is this event? What's taking place in this event? After you have that information, now we're looking at the 3 bodies, right? The physical body, the emotional body, the mental body. Now that I have that data written out in that paragraph, what fits within the physical body? Is there anything that I can feel relates to a physical body conflict pertaining to this event? Oh, well, there's this thing, okay? What about the emotional body? Is there anything within the emotional body that fits regarding this event? Oh, well, there's this thing and that thing, okay? What about the mental body? Remember, the mental body, again, is letting us feel like we're trapped. We have a consequence, right? There's a dilemma. There's something that we feel we're just kind of caging ourselves into. So it's the feeling of being unloved. It's the feeling of not feeling good enough. The feeling of being restrained, not being able to travel, whatever it may be. Okay, so there's always that feeling of a consequence, right? That's the mental block. It's like a prison cell, right? So we write that down. Is there anything in that sense that is confining, that feels very restricted, feels like I have a lot of conditioning placed upon myself? And that's the belief system, all right? So that's what we're going to look into today. So we're just going to kind of go with the flow. And I'll just be taking things step by step so it will not seem so complicated for everybody, okay? So we're going to start off with the memory spiral. very first thing. And that's going to lead us into the check-in list, right? So like I said, this is the example of the notepad. Now again, when you're doing the memory spiral, you can either draw it out with a pen, okay? Or you can just see it in your mind, right? And you're just using your finger. So what we're going to do in this example is we're going to make one looping circle connection as 1 year, okay? So when we complete a loop of the spiral, that's 1 year. Then we do it again, 2 years. Then we do it again, 3 years, and so forth, okay? So I'm just using this as an example today, okay? If I was able to discover something in the memory spiral, I will show you exactly what I would do to write all that down and to get this information, okay? So the first thing we're going to do is, if we're working with the memory spiral, is we're going to go into heart rate variability, okay? And we're going to do this for about a minute or so, all right? So let's just get ourselves nice and comfortable, nice and relaxed, making sure the body is free of any tension, okay? And closing your eyes now, and we're going to be doing again nasal breathing, breathing in and out through the nose, 5 seconds in and 7 seconds out. Okay, so we'll begin now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And one more time. Okay, and I could continue to do that, right? Just working with heart rate variability. I'm already starting to feel like the waves are just calming down, right? So again, like when we first start, even before we do the phase 1 breathing, the waves are like this, right? It's kind of like your beta state, right? Your beta brainwave state. And then we start to do the cleansing breath like we would normally do when we do the BCR, right? So we do the, right? And then what we're doing is we're taking those chaotic waves and we're just making them active waves, right? Then we go into the phase 2 breath, which represents heart rate variability. And we see how the waves start to steady themselves, okay? So again, heart rate variability is what we do when we do the memory spiral, okay? So now let's say, for example, I did 5 minutes worth of heart rate variability, and I'm feeling the waves calming down now. I feel like a very, very still ocean is directly before me, all right? That's great, that's what we want. So now I'm going to close my eyes, and I'm just going to use my finger here, and I'm going to again say that each completed loop represents 1 year of my life. And I'm just going backwards, feeling out if there's any conflicts or traumas that have been left unresolved. Again, I'm just doing this for a state of example, okay? So, moving my finger very slowly. Okay, there's 1 completed year. 2 completed years. 3 completed, okay. So feeling something right here, right? So as I'm feeling something in the 3rd year, right, I'm just doing this. It's like a little marker. So maybe I want to take my notepad and I want to draw out a spiral that again has 3 of those completed loops. And as I get to the 3rd year, I just do this, okay? So it's a counterclockwise spiral with 3 loops. And as soon as I get to the 3rd year, I put that little marker there. And I put a 3 by it, just so I know, okay, this is about 3 years ago. All right, so now I would write out information. I would tap into that. I say, okay, there's a feeling of a marker, so what is it that I've experienced? It was a feeling of, again, having a family fight, right? So the feeling of having a fight with relationship, having a fight with the wife, having a fight with a girlfriend, having a fight with a husband, having a fight with a boyfriend. having a fight with siblings, whatever it may be. It's just an idea. Again, just as an example I'm putting down. This did not actually happen to me. This is just an example, okay? So I would basically say, okay, there was a family skirmish, okay? So my mom and my dad are in the room, and my brother and my sister in the room, and we're fighting. We're fighting over money situations. We're fighting over what I'm choosing to do with the direction of my life. It's a lot of arguing. It's a lot of people telling me what I should do with my life, right? So I'm just writing this down. What am I doing? I'm being the journalist, right? I got the journalist hat on, right? It says press right here. It's the Akashic journalist, right? So that's what I'm writing down. Family skirmish, okay? My mother, father, brother, and sister are present. We are arguing over what I should be doing with my life. And we are fighting over money. There's a lot of raised voices, right? People just arguing with each other. It's almost like a verbal jousting that's taking place, okay? So I'm just writing all of that down. And how am I feeling during this entire situation? I feel very tense. I feel very uneasy. I feel very uncertain. I don't want to disappoint my family, but I have to follow my heart at the same time. Great. You see, that is a perfect example of using the memory spiral and just creating a simple paragraph, right? It could be a long paragraph if you want, but it's just that paragraph of data that we need, right? So what is happening in your event? So these are the kind of questions that you want to write down when you're working with the memory spiral, okay? What is happening with the event? Who is present during this event? Okay, so basically when we say what is happening with this event, well, I'm inside my house and my family is arguing. My mom, my dad, my brother, and my sister are present inside this event. Okay? What is taking place in this event? Okay? What's the situation? Right? So we want to find out what is this event, who's present in this event, what is taking place in this event, what's the situation happening here? Right? We're fighting, we're squabbling over things. I reveal that I'm moving into a new career direction. And my family is getting very upset with me about that. They're concerned about money. They're concerned about my finances. They don't think I have what it takes to do this new thing. They're shouting at me. It's a verbo jousting, okay? And the fourth question is, how do I feel regarding this event? Okay? How do I feel regarding this event? And again, I feel uneasy. My body feels tense, right? So I'm thinking about the three bodies when I'm answering that question. How do I feel as I'm experiencing this event, right? So my body feels tense. I feel very, very tight, very compressed, right? Emotional wise, I feel very uneasy. I feel very sad. I feel somewhat anxious as well too. Good. What belief systems are there? I'm really worried about upsetting my parents. I want to make sure that I feel like I can still make them proud, make them happy, right? Or I can make my family happy, right? So again, there's family tensions, right? It's a family tension, and I want to try and make everybody happy, but I don't know if I can do it, okay? So there we go. Those are the 4 basic questions. And again, just go back to the recording if you need to hear them out again. Those are the 4 basic questions that we want to pose when we're doing the memory spiral, okay? That's just helping us to write out the paragraph, and that's also helping us to put the data inside the 3 bodies, okay? The physical body, the emotional body, the mental body, right? So you're working with those 4 questions. You may even have a 5th question that you may want to add to it as well too, and that's fine. But I would say just cover those 4 bases, right? About the nature of the event, about who's involved with the event, right? What is this event involving? What is it about? And how are you feeling about this event, okay? So you have those 4 basic questions. Like I said, go back to the recording in case you need to write it down again, right? Then you're good to go, okay? So now we write all that information out with the memory spiral. Now, like I said, I've been doing the spiral work for many years, okay? It's very natural for me to dive into this and to get this information because I've worked with the Akashic Records in the past, right? But again, for yourselves, it may take a little bit longer, okay? Don't get upset if you don't get this right away. This is just one optional technique. And like I said, you only really need to use the memory spiral if you are not really too sure about what you want to work on firstly, or if you feel like you want to work with certain things that have been buried, okay? What I would suggest you do firstly, though, is just work with what you know, okay? Work with the traumas that you're familiar with. That's what you should be doing firstly. But now that you are aware of the memory spiral technique, you can now utilize that should you want to move into uncovering some subconscious debris that has been buried for quite some time. Okay? But please work firstly with what you're aware of. Okay? That's what we want to do with first, right? So when we have our notebook here, as I was talking about yesterday, right, that I have a notebook here, and I have about 2 years worth of information in here. I have other notebooks previously as well. But using this and just writing things down, right? I'm just looking at, okay, newborn baby. Okay, I was looking at myself in toddler years, just in regards to what I could recall. My younger childhood years, right? Did I have bullies in my life? What was my family like? What about my friends? What were they like, right? How was my school, right? My elementary school, my middle school, my high school, how was that? What about my high school sweetheart, right? And it just continues to grow from that. We're looking at major life events, right? And as we look at those major life events, we put all of that data down, right? We're writing it out, right? This is why I say it's very good to have this. It's fine if you have like a notepad, or if you have your tablet, or if you have your phone, that's fine too, right? But what I would suggest is you get something like this. You get a notebook, okay? And you just start off from page number 1. My newborn baby, right? My newborn baby existence, my newborn baby memory, right? Even if you don't recall it perfectly, that's okay. You're still just working with the idea of, again, just harmonizing the newborn baby, right? You're bringing that variant into your reinforcement space, okay? So like I said, this is something that's going to take time. This is something that can take weeks or months or even years. It all depends upon the person. Like I said, when I was doing all this work prior to BCR Technique, I was working on it for about 10 years, right? Before I started getting into the BCR Technique, which really created the shortcut, right? Because a lot of the stuff I was doing with like light circuitry and body regeneration and all that, and that's great, and that worked really, really well. But then as I started to work with the BCR technique, I said, no, I need something quicker, right? I need something where I can just look at something, I can be in my space, I can look at this conflict, I can fill myself with love, and then it's gone, and it's gone, and it's gone, right? And I was also looking into Lester Levinson's release technique, right, to see exactly what he was doing. That's actually what helped me with light circuitry a little bit more. I kind of added a little bit more caveats to it. And then with my light circuitry, I started to basically say, well, let's take the symbols out. Let me take the symbols out of this, right? And that's really what helped to create the BCR technique. I also had the first version of the EQ method, not the one that's here now. But the first version of the EQ method was, again, being able to balance the scales, right, the equivalence. And that was a big healing factor as well, too, right? So the first version of the EQ method, the BCR technique is kind of like a shortened version of the first version of the EQ method, right? That's really what created new ground for me. And so as I started to create the BCR technique for everybody here, this again is what I continue to use alongside the first version of the EQ method. And that's what really trimmed the fat quite quickly, right? So we have a lot of stuff, right? There's a lot of traumas, and we have to look at the idea of what we're going through inside the heart as an onion. Okay, and you're peeling layers off. That's what you're doing. Say, oh my God, I feel so good. I took care of the heart today. I don't think I'll ever be upset again. I'm sorry to bust your bubble, but there's going to come a point where you're going to need to come back to the heart again, and you're going to peel off more layers, right? Where you're going into areas of your body, right, where you feel a lot of these emotional hardships stored, and you're peeling off layers, okay? It'd be very cool if we say, yeah, I worked with the heart today and I peeled off so much of it, and I don't think I have to worry about it again. Yeah, that's good wishful thinking, but no, you're going to go back to the heart again, right? You're going to go back into areas of your life again, right? You are peeling a gigantic onion, and there's a lot of layers, a lot, okay? It's like just layers upon layers upon layers upon layers. But as you continue to do this daily, you're going to peel off so many of those layers, you're going to feel light as a feather, right? Your challenges will start to shift as well, too. You won't be so heavily challenged as you once were. If this is where you were, right, the midpoint of your life, and now you start doing BCR technique, you're lifting yourself up. Now while you're up here, the waves are going to be like this, right? It's not going to be like this, right? So what you're doing is you're moving yourself into higher platforms, right? So it's like you're just stepping up these stairs and you're going up a new flight, a new platform, right? And you can bounce up and down on that platform, but that platform's a lot higher. You're not down in the dumps here anymore because you've been picking yourself up. You've been doing all this work these past several weeks, these past several months, and now you're moving into higher platforms and you're gonna follow a new wave, okay? So you may say, yeah, I'm having challenges, but man, it's nowhere near as bad as it used to be, right? If I'm really looking back at my life 10 years ago, right, to where I am right now, I was probably right about here, right? Where am I now? Probably right about here, right? And working with that new platform, okay? So again, don't be frustrated thinking that, oh my God, I just did this healing the other day, now more stuff's coming. Is this even working? Yes, it is. But you have layers, okay? There's layers to peel off. So don't feel like this is a one-hit wonder, or I did a lot of healing on my heart today, and that's it. My heart will never be upset again. No. Sorry to break the news to you. It's going to be upset again because you're going to discover new things. You're going to hit new levels of yourself that you did not know were there, and you're going to want to clear that out as well too, right? So it's like pulling weeds. That's really what it is. You think you got all the weeds. A few days later, more of them grow back, okay? It's good that you were pulling out those weeds, but you have to go deeper. You got to go deeper into the soil. You got to go right to the core. You got to go right to the source of the weeds, and you got to pull out that source, right? And then there will be several other sources to pull out as well too, okay? Which is what we're doing here through the BCR technique, all right? Okay, so like I said, we're going to go through the example today of the BCR technique. I've already shown you guys the memory spiral, okay? So what we're going to do now is we're just going to go into the demonstration. We're just going to start from the beginning, which again is the breath work, right? So we're going to start off with phase 1 breathing, based upon if you guys are feeling active. If you're feeling active, you can skip phase 1 and you can move more into phase 2, okay? Okay, so it looks like we have a new person in the chat. Sandan. He's not too sure what BCR technique is, so someone wants to share with him, or Sandan, what I could suggest, go back to the earlier videos and you'll know what BCR technique is, okay? So go to the video playlist link that you'll see in the video description, Sandan, okay? Go to the video description, you'll see the video playlist there. Click on that link, start off with day 0, and it'll get you started, and you'll know what BCR is, okay? Nonetheless, thanks for being here today. Okay, everybody, so we're going to start off firstly with phase 1 breathing. So just get yourself nice and relaxed, nice and comfortable. And we're going to take a few phase 1 breaths. Okay, deep breath in. All right, that's feeling good already. I'm already getting high off those phase 1 breaths. Okay, so how am I feeling? The waves are feeling very active. Okay, they're just kind of bobbing around. It's not like this. It's not chaotic, right? They're being very active. Okay, now we move on into phase 2 breathing. Okay, heart rate variability. We're going to do another 1-minute demonstration of the heart rate variability. So again, nasal breathing only, breathing in and out through the nose. 5 seconds in, 7 seconds out. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And one more time. Okay, So I would suggest just continuing to do that 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, right? Even if you have to withdraw from this webcast today and just go off and do some heart rate variability. If you want to do this live demonstration with me, that would be my recommendation. Otherwise, if you're good, if you're feeling like you're in a nice subtle state of calmness, okay, the waves are nice and settled, then that's good. And we're able to move on now into that calmness state. It's a subtle calmness, okay? So it's like you're just floating on a wooden plank and you're floating in the middle of the ocean and you're just seeing like the entire ocean is just clear glass. It's completely still, right? That's the feeling we want when we're moving into subtle calmness. So we move from chaotic activity to active calmness to subtle calmness, okay? And that's where we want to be. So now we're going into our reinforcement space, okay? So with your eyes closed, you're seeing the void firstly, okay? You can place your hand on the heart if you wish, and you're just telling the heart, show me my reinforcement space that makes me so happy, that brings me such bliss, such joy, such compassion. Let it be so. And you're feeling the entire space, filling your awareness, all right? So your mind is now being filled with all of this beauty, with all of this love, with all of this happiness, with all of this compassion, with all of this joy, right? You're just feeling it all around you. For those who have been here since the beginning, I don't even have to coach you through this, okay? This should be second nature to you now, right? Feeling that reinforcement space there, everything that brings you happiness, everything that brings you love, right? Whether you're in the middle of a meadow, whether you're on a beach, whether you're on the top of a mountain, whether you're in an old cottage, whether you're in a favorite house, whatever it is, the possibilities are endless, all right? But again, it's everything within your space should represent every facet of love that brings you joy, right? So if it's loved ones in your space, if that brings you joy, that's what you have there. If it's angels from heaven shining their light, right, upon you, and you're feeling that joy and happiness because that's what it brings you, let them be there, okay? If it's your star family, okay? If it's extraterrestrials, if it's your star civilizations, you're on board ships, right? You feel just a paradise. You feel like you're just being wrapped around with a beautiful blanket of love. And you have your star family there, right? And they're just looking at you and they're just whispering, I love you, right? And if that just makes you smile, use that, okay? Everything that brings you happiness, that's what you're using. Yes, your space can change. It evolves together with you. You have to understand that your reinforcement space is alive. It's a living thing, okay? So it evolves and it grows and it nurtures you in greater states of change. So yes, that can happen as well. So whatever your reinforcement space is, bring it forward now and let it be the purest complement of your love. And now that you have your reinforcement space together, right, you're just again feeling like your pores of your skin are opening up. You're imagining that your body is somewhat transparent, right, because you're not focusing centrally on the body. You are your environment, okay? So you're taking in all of that love energy and it's just coming back into the center point, which is connected to the heart, okay? The heart is your center point. So your pores are opening up, you're breathing in all this love energy, you're taking in all the stimulation of the environment. Like I said, if you're on board a ship and your star family's with you and they're just absolutely beautiful beings, they're 5,000 years old, but they look like 19-year-olds, which is very, very common throughout star civilizations. They always look eternally young, right? Even though they're thousands of years old. That's exactly how it is, right? And they're just smiling at you. And they're just absolutely beautiful beings. And they're just looking at you like you're the most beautiful entity there is, right? That you're just this beautiful spirit. And see them the same, okay? Whatever your environment is, see it the same. It's the most beautiful thing that ever exists, okay? And you're breathing in that love energy. You're breathing it in. You're putting it into your heart. Your heart's getting filled up. What do we do with that? We use the gauge, okay? So we see that energy ball here. How much love is coming through us right now. We feel it. Expand your hands just nice and slowly. As you feel all this love energy flowing through. Oh my God, I'm with my star family. It's amazing on board this beautiful ship. There's rainbow light all around me. It's like Aurora Borealis. I feel my heart just lifting up. I feel like the atoms within my body are vibrating at a much more faster rate. I feel amazing. I am above Mount Olympus. I am above the gods. I feel myself as creator. I feel amazing. I feel wonderful. This is insane. This is wonderful. I'm so happy right now. And here you are with your hands fully outstretched. Okay? You're bringing in that orb, right? Making it the size of a tennis ball. Okay? Putting it into the heart. Taking a moment, letting that energy go into your heart. Okay, now, here's where we bring in the extension healing. So do you see what we did? We were working with our reinforcement space. We're working with the gauge. We're putting that energy into the heart. Now we can bring in the variant. Okay, so wherever you are, whatever your space is, I want you just to look either to your left or to your right. And I want you to see a variant of yourself. Okay, so in my example here, I had 3 years ago, a version of myself that was arguing with family over my career, over my direction, okay? And again, I was feeling all of those conflicts relating to the physical, the emotional, and the mental bodies, right, with this situation. So I'm looking over to my right. Like I said, you can go over to your left, your right, whatever you feel, but you're looking over, and there's the variant, okay? There's the version of you 3 years ago that was arguing with family, okay? So as you see that variant right now, he or she is just standing there, right? It's kind of like he's somewhat motionless, or she's somewhat motionless. I'm just using my example here, right? So he's pretty much motionless right now. So now I'm approaching him, okay, in my mind, and I'm saying to him, I know what you have gone through, and I'm here for you, right? So I'm putting my hand upon his heart, okay? So he's just kind of standing there. He's not really sure, where the hell am I? What's going on here? I was arguing with my family, and what the hell happened? No, it's not like that. Okay, we're not putting any of that stuff here. Remember, like we said, we keep the ego out of the reinforcement space. So basically, he's here, he's breathing, he's alive, but he's more stationary than anything, right? He's a hologram. So what I'm doing is I'm just going over to him, and I'm placing my hand upon his heart. And I'm just tuning into all of those things that represented that situation. As I'm tuning into his heart, I'm putting all of that love energy that I have inside myself into him. Okay, so I'm feeling all of that love energy. And I am seeing that variant of myself in as much love as everything else in this space. So, if I have star family that's telling me they love me, and my love for them is so profound, if I have an environment that's telling me it loves me, and I'm feeling that love through the environment that is so profound, I'm doing the exact same thing for my variant. Okay? So here's this 3-year version of me, 3 years ago. Okay? And I'm just putting my hand upon his heart. He is now one with the love space. Right? Which means the love that I give him is equal to everything else that I have brought love forward into my space. It is equal to all of the love that I have received from my space. So I'm just pouring that into him. So one of the things you can see is almost like looking at your love like a liquid, right? And you're filling that body, that variant, from head to toe with this liquid light, okay? That's just one idea. Another version is just being able to see like a little veil placed over him, kind of like a transparent veil. And you're just feeling like these sparkles and particles of energy that are filling him up. Okay? Another idea is just being able to see him turn into a luminescent being. Seeing him transform into golden light. Seeing him transform into white light, whatever you prefer. Okay? However it interprets itself through you. Okay? That's what we're doing. We're filling this variant with our love, okay? As I do that, I'm just going over to him and I'm hugging him and saying, I love you. I love you. I love you. I don't need to negotiate with him. Okay, I don't need to say, oh, everything's okay. I don't need to do that. Okay, so it's not a counseling session. I'm going to my variant, and all I'm doing is filling him with so much love that he feels as high as I do, which means I don't really need to say anything to him other than, I love you. Okay? It's not a counseling session. It's not a psychiatric session. It's not a therapeutic session. That is not what you're doing with your variant. Okay? You're going up to them, you're embracing them, you're filling them with love, and you're just telling them that you love them. Okay? And now you see them no different than everything else within your space that you love and that has brought you love. Right? So now you feel that loving variant effect. Okay? So now you've been able to successfully achieve bringing love into your variant. Okay? So now you're tuning into them and you're just feeling like you're going into their being now. Right? So as you put your hand upon their chest, after you've filled them with light, after you've given them a hug, you've embraced them, said that you love them, right? Place your hand back upon their chest. How are they feeling? Because this is you. He's ecstatic. He's so, so happy, right? He's so joyful. All of those things have subsided. There's no harsh feelings in regards to his family. There's no harsh feelings in regards to the event situation because now he sees his future him, which is me, right? This is 3 years later. Look how I am. He has nothing to worry about. Brad's prospering. Brad's doing well, right? So if he's from 2018, which represents 3 years in the past, and now he's seeing the 2021 version of himself and says, well, he's fine. He's great. I don't need to worry about any of this stuff. I'm completely clear. I feel great. I turn out well, right? So there we go. That's it. This required no psychiatric counseling. This required no therapy, nothing of the nature. All you're doing is bringing and basking in that version of you filled with love. And after you do that, you check in with him, right? How is he feeling, right? All of those conflicts gone because you're feeling this amazing rush of love. And take some time with this, right? This may take you a few minutes, for example, just to bring all of that love into that person, into that variant of yourself, okay? Giving them a hug and just having that deep, warm sensation and saying, I love you, right? I love you. That's it. You don't need to say anything else. Then you check in with them. You feel how they are. Yeah, they feel so good. And you're just feeling that love, filling the entirety of their body. And they feel great. Okay? And now as you do that, you're going to feel that variant shifting back into their timeline. Okay? So now all of that energy from the variant is now one with you, right? Because you're connected. You're just talking to yourself. You're talking to your memories. Okay? It's not really time travel per se. In a way, it sort of is. But all we're really doing here is we're looking at memory, right? Remember that our Akashic field stores time. And what is time? Time is memory. That's all time is. Time is memory. It's nothing else. So what we're doing memory travel, okay? Which time all is. Time is just the measurement of memory. It's the idea where we're looking at yesterday and tomorrow and last week and next week and last month and next month and last year and next year, right? It's just storage. It's storage within our Akashic fields. It's storage within our information field. So what we are doing is we're harmonizing our memories, right? That we feel is linked to the measurement of time, because that's all time is. It's just a measurement. We cannot prove time exists. It's just a memory, all right? So we're making peace with these memories, right? So they go back. Now that they go back, I want you to look at that situation again with the new refined you there, right? Your folks are arguing, brother and sister are fighting. You're just there and you're just taking everything in and you're so at peace and you're just putting this wave of love around the entire situation. You're not affected by it, right? So your mom and your dad are arguing about what you should do, what you should do, what you do. You should know, you know the entire situation. It exists in your memory. But all that variant is doing now is just holding the spirit hands of his family, right? So here's his mom arguing, blah, 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 blah. The physical self is arguing. Here's his dad, blah, 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 arguing. Here's his sister and brother, blah, 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 arguing. He's completely tuned out of that. and he's just holding the hands of the spirits of his family. And he's completely at peace because he knows, well, look what's come ahead for me. Look where I am right now in 2021. I'm doing what I love to do. I'm happy. So I'm not concerned about this situation anymore because it turns out well. And so I neutralize that entire situation. I connect with the spirit of that situation, and now everything brings me into that state of calmness because I know the result. I know what is ahead, and it makes me happy. Therefore, I neutralize that entire situation, which means I don't care about it anymore because I know the result, right? So that's what we're doing. So this is basically, through myself, healing and forgiving the trauma that represents the entire event. Let me say that again. This, through myself, is healing and forgiving the trauma that represents the entire event. Okay? I didn't need to say one time, I forgive my mom, I forgive my dad, I forgive my brother, I forgive my sister. I never had to say that. All I've done is I've neutralized the effect of what that trauma has done to me. I didn't need to forgive anybody. Okay? All I had to do is I had to forgive that trauma, right? I had to forgive through myself that trauma that was creating this event because everybody there isn't really important. They're variables, okay? So I'm healing the entire trauma that created that event. Now that that trauma is neutralized, that event is now neutralized as well, which means everything's at peace, everything is calm, everything is centered, and I can move on. So that is what I would say. The next thing, right? So I have this paragraph down, for example, of what was contained inside the memory, the event, right? How my physical, emotional, and mental bodies were feeling. And now I create a post-BCR follow-up, okay? So that would be on the next page, okay? A post-BCR follow-up. What happened, okay? So I went through my reinforcement space. I invited in my variant. I filled him with love. I filled him with all this golden light, and he became this luminous being. And I went up to him, and I hugged him, and I said, I love you, I love you, I love you. I tapped back into him, and I could feel all of that debris was gone because I'm up here, right? When he first came in, he was down here. As soon as I start filling him with love, he's up here with me, right? So I said, I love you. I felt him. He felt like all of that energy that was conflicting was completely nullified, completely neutralized, right? I could feel it. I could feel his heart beating. I could feel happiness through his soul. And as soon as I felt that, as soon as I felt 100% that he was completely good, snap of a finger, he returns back into his timeline, right? And as soon as that happens, I'm just seeing this entire event just being nullified. I'm feeling it neutralized, right? I'm just seeing him just completely at peace and everything is in fine, right? It's kind of like he is not even observing the fight that's taking place with these shaking hands and pointing fingers. He's not even present with that. All he's feeling is this love and bliss and happiness. And he's holding the hands of spirits that represent his family. And that's it, right? And so again, when you feel your variant is completely in that state of happiness, just as you are, right, in the BCR technique, through your reinforcement space, you've done your work, okay? You just snap your fingers, right, or you just say, go back, and now he goes back, and you're just feeling that complete and total release of the trauma altogether, right? You've brought your love into him, right? You've brought your love into her, whoever your variant is, okay, whoever I'm talking to. And now you're seeing that entire event neutralize, okay? So again, the whole idea is we don't send the variant back until they feel as happy as we do in this space, right? The variant stays. Variant stays until we feel that it's as happy as we are, right? Because we're getting ourselves high. We know what our reinforcement space does to us. We're just applying the feeling of what the reinforcement space has done to us that we're now putting into the variant. Okay, so now that variant is just as high as us, all right? If he's down here, nope, can't send him back yet. He's got to be up here with me. He's got to be right with me. And when he's right with me, now I can send him back. Okay? Now I send him back to the timeline. Now, alternatively, you don't even have to look at the after effects of the variant being sent back. You don't have to do that. I'm kind of doing that just for an expression's sake, right? But you don't have to say, okay, well, he popped back in the timeline. Now I'm seeing what he's going through. You don't have to do that if you don't want to, okay? You know that he's filled with love. You pop him back to where he is. Now, most importantly, you check on with yourself. How are you feeling regarding that whole situation? I feel great. I feel completely at peace. And it's exactly as I described, right? Just the feeling that, right, there's an argument going on, but I'm not tied to it. I'm not anchored to it. I feel completely at peace, right? So I'm bringing that complete trauma into nullification. It's being eliminated. It's being released. It's no longer there. I can feel it gone. Good. You've healed your timeline. So you don't have to go into that extra part where you're looking at him and just seeing him kind of just in another reality, not even looking at that situation with argument, okay? That's just, again, an expression's sake, okay? What's most important is that you're feeling the difference. You're feeling that trauma within yourself released. You're feeling that trauma itself neutralized. And like I said, you didn't have to forgive anybody, okay? It all just came down to the idea of making peace with the trauma, bringing it into the state of love and letting spirit take care of it, letting love energy take care of it. And that's all we did with the variant, okay? So that is it. That is the summary of working together with your extension healing through the BCR technique, okay? So you're going through your checklist, right? You're going through your notebook here, right? So the same thing applies if we're looking at the newborn baby, okay? Just as I did with that sample variant from 3 years ago, we now have the newborn baby variant, okay? So like I said, we do the BCR, right? We do the gauge, we put the love energy into ourselves, we're feeling great, we look to our left or to our right, and there's the newborn baby inside a bassinet, okay? Now we're just going over to that newborn baby, we're just putting our hand over the baby nice and gently, it's us, right? And we're filling that baby with complete and total love, right? So everything in regards to any traumas that happened as a newborn becomes nullified. It gets burnt up, okay? It's what the love energy is doing to it, right? If we're looking at this conflict, this trauma, as this kind of parasitical thing, right? This kind of tarry substance, when we put love into it, that light scorches it and burns it up, okay? And that's really what's happening, is we're making that baby luminous. We have now an extra luminal baby here. Okay, it's glowing with golden light, and all of that is being released. And that golden light is just representation to all the love that you have received and to all the love that you are giving through your space. It's always through a two-way flow here. Okay, so you're filling yourself up with that love, making sure that the baby is at your level. Okay, this is not going to work. This is not going to work. This is going to work, okay? So you want to make sure that your variant has the equal degree of love that you do, that you're feeling inside your space, right? So you want to make sure that your heart is full. How do we do that? We do the gauge, okay? You make sure your hands are stretched all the way as far as they can go. Then we put it into the tennis ball. We put it into the heart, okay? That's how much love we give. Your gauge is telling you how much love is inside your heart. Okay? It's very important to remember that. I have to do the gauge. You have to. Okay, that's mandatory. Right? So you're doing the gauge, expanding your hands out as far as they can go, because you need to know how much love is inside your heart. Right? Tennis ball in the heart. Left or right for your variant. Okay? Going over to your variant, filling them with love, telling them you love them, filling them on the same love level as you, whether it's a baby or otherwise, right? And then sending them back, okay? And now just checking in with yourself. Is that trauma gone? Do I feel it completely being erased? Do I feel it leaving me, right? And then again, you just tune into your body. You said, yeah, I feel like there's activity there, right? You want to talk to your love energy entity to helping you, bringing in love to your variant. The love energy entity can also help you with that. Okay, they can appear, they can go over to the baby with you, right? And you're both just putting that love energy into the variant. Okay, now if the variant has all of that energy, right? It's equal to you, gets sent back. Monitor yourself. How are you feeling? How are you feeling regarding that event? I feel clear. I feel free. I feel like it's been completely neutralized. Great. Okay, and you've succeeded. So that's all we're doing. Okay, so it does not matter what the variant is. It does not matter if this is a variant who's been very, very hurt, right? Like I said, if it's sexual molestation, if it's rape, if it's a fight, a verbal fight, a physical fight that's been happening, a very serious injury, being kept in the hospital, again, being a traumatized newborn, doesn't matter. Okay, you're bringing that variant into your space. And again, the rule is that variant will not leave your space. Even if you leave the space, the variant will still be there until that variant is equal with love with you. Okay, so every time you pop back into your space, let's say you weren't able to get your variant there and you have to go and attend to something else. So you leave it all behind, that variant is still in the reinforcement space. Okay, he or she is there until this is reached. Okay, once that is reached, once it's equal to the love that you have, then that variant can be sent back. But if it's not here, that variant stays. Okay, so you could have a whole reinforcement space filled up with variants that again may not be on your level of love, and you have to work with them. Okay, so you're putting all of that love energy into your variants, and once they're equal to you, they're sent back into their memory timeline. Okay, simple as that. Okay, so that's what I can share with you guys today. Let's see if we have any questions here. Okay, this one here is from Tenzin. Tenzin says, after I put love to my variant and feel so much love in my heart and extend so much love to the situation, then I feel heavy on the solar plexus. What does that mean? That means that there's been a blockage in your solar plexus, right? So when there's a weight coming through, you're noticing that there's been a blockage there, right? This is basically what happens when we start doing, let's say, for example, we've been stationary for a while where we haven't really done a lot of energy healing, right? We've been kind of on the shelf with that for a while. And now we start running this energy a lot more. Well, then you may notice that certain areas of your body may start to get heavy, or there may be a throbbing taking place. Or again, you may just feel like a rush of energy is happening, something's getting hot. Okay, these are letting you know that there are blockages there. Okay, so Tenzin, when you're noticing that there's heaviness in your solar plexus, you want to focus there. Okay, you want to put your hand there and you want to focus that. And you want to talk to your heart, or you want to talk to your love energy entity. Okay, and you're talking that and saying, okay, just show me what this heaviness is, right? Show me this. Now, a lot of it is emotional buildup. A lot of it is traumatic buildup. A lot of it is just dense energy buildup, okay? So you're talking to your heart, you're talking to the love energy, you're talking to your love energy entity, putting your hand on the solar plexus, because this is where we store a lot of stuff. A lot of it is grief, a lot of it is guilt, right? A lot of it is remorse, a lot of it is resentment, right? It can be a lot of different things. And a lot of it is just sludge, right? It's dense sludge that has been building up over the years, okay? So if that does happen, if you're noticing a very heavy energy in your solar plexus or in any other areas of your body, you're now becoming aware of it because energy is running through your body, right? It's kind of like an extra set of eyes, right? The energy is running in, and so now you're feeling very light, but now you feel that there's certain spots within your body that feel very, very heavy. They feel very, very dense. Okay, well, don't be alarmed. That's okay. This, again, is letting you know that there's been a lot of packed in dense energy, again, often emotionally, mentally, traumatic, that has been stored there for quite some time. You just haven't known about it, right? So now you're working together with the love energy to lift that up, okay? This is why we're talking to the love energy. This is why we're talking to the love energy entity. Help me to clear this out, right? So I may want to look into firstly what it is, what it represents. If I'm putting my hand there and I'm touching it, what does it represent? Okay, there's something with sadness. There's something there with conflict. There's something there with resentment. There's something there with guilt. Okay, that's something that should be going with my emotional body then. Okay, I'm tapping into that. So now I've written that down in the emotional body, and now I'm just putting more love energy, more love energy, more love energy, more love energy. Okay, if I need more love energy, I'm in a space that is ripe with it. Okay, it's all around you. And you're putting that into a ball, and now you're putting that into the solar plexus. Okay, and start rubbing it clockwise. Okay, clockwise, putting all of that love energy and rubbing the solar plexus clockwise. Okay, and now as you're rubbing it, feel into it. Is it getting lighter? Is it getting lighter? Is it getting lighter? Okay, and I want you to feel in your mind, yes, it's getting lighter because I'm lifting it up. I'm lifting it up. I'm lifting it up, and I'm moving my hand clockwise. Clockwise. Okay, into the solar plexus. Feeling that love energy, just penetrating that dense energy. Dense energy is getting lighter and lighter and lighter. And now I can lift it up. Okay? So if you need help from your love energy entity, bring them in and let them do the work as well too. Okay? They're rubbing the solar plexus in a clockwise direction. Okay? And they're stimulating all of that love energy and just breaking apart the heaviness. Okay? And don't attach to it. Just let everything that happens happen. Okay? The whole key here is just to neutralize yourself. Don't get involved with the affairs of drama relating to what you're working with, because you've left your ego at the door. Okay? You're neutralizing everything. So you're doing that work, you're putting that love energy there until you feel like that dense, heavy energy is gone. Okay? Once that dense energy is gone, good. Now you can go back to the work that you were doing. Okay? Putting more love energy into your heart. What would you like the love energy to do? Okay, to continue to work on the peripheral areas of the solar plexus. Go for it. Okay? That's all we do. So we just got to listen to our body, and it's a very good thing that you put that question up, because a lot of people will be experiencing that. Brad, I feel like there's dense energy in my shoulders, or there's dense energies in my solar plexus or in my kneecaps. Or, of course, like I said, the love energy is running through you. It's an extra pair of eyes. It's showing you, here's some dense spots in your body because you've been neglecting this for quite some time. So now we can heal it up. Okay? So you can work with that clockwise movement with the love energy, with that ball, right? You're putting it in the solar plexus, and you're just rubbing slowly clockwise and just feeling that energy being uplifted, uplifted, uplifted. Okay? So look into that. Thank you, Tenzin. Okay. So Anders asks, love energy as a fire. Is that related to the esoteric eternal flame symbology? We're not talking about any symbology here, guys. Okay? It doesn't matter. That's just going too much into story. Okay? I'm using that primarily just as an example, right? So when we're looking into the idea of luminous energy, of light energy, that's just a direct translation of how your love energy would appear towards that. Don't worry about reasoning with it. Okay? Don't attach to stories. The ego curiosity is out of your reinforcement space. There's a reason why we do that. Because you guys get distracted if you constantly look at story. Oh, here's a violet flame. Oh, wait, isn't this something to do with an archangel? Isn't this something to do with St. Francis? Or isn't this something to do with whoever else it is, right? St. Germain, right? Oh, there's a violet flame. I'm going to look into that story. See, this is what happens when your ego gets involved. You are completely distracting yourself from what you're here to do. We're not here to look at the backgrounds of symbology or stories. What we're here to do is heal, right? So look into that a little bit later on, right? After you do the BCR technique, if you're interested in looking into the idea of an esoteric fire or flame, then go ahead and do your research after that. But that's not what we're doing here in the BCR technique, okay? In the BCR technique, we're just using whatever representation pertaining to cleansing, pertaining to love, pertaining to compassion that comes forward. It's like I've talked about with Mount Olympus. Doesn't mean I need you guys to go look up Greek mythology. I'm using it as an example, okay? When I'm talking about the fire, scorching the dense energy of the parasite, okay, I'm using that as an example. Don't get too caught up in these whimsical degrees of intellectualism, okay? It's not what we're here to do. Leave that at the door, right? Afterwards, if you want to look into it, go for it, okay? But not when you're doing BCR. I need you to focus, and I need you to be with your love energy, and I want you to heal. That's all I want you to do. I don't want you looking into intellectual musings. Okay, so that's out. So let's remember that. Okay. Sutibu, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, is a muscle building routine helpful in bringing in more love to your heart for BCR? Any type of exercise particularly good, guys? All you have to do is what I'm teaching you to do here. I'm not telling you to hit the weights. I'm not telling you to hit the gym. I'm not telling you to do a 10-mile jog, anything of that. Just focus on what I've taught you. You guys are bringing the intellect into this. Don't. Okay? Follow the process that I've laid out here for the past 19 days. Don't add anything that would relate to say, oh, I guess I have to build up my muscles. Whatever you decide to do after BCR technique is up to you. All right? Is it good to have a healthy body? Is it good to get yourself in good shape and get fitness? Of course, right? That is always very good. But that's not the requirement here that I'm telling you guys. You guys know the flow of the BCR technique. That's what you stick to. I don't care if you're doing lots of exercise, if you're getting pumped up, if you're turning into Arnold Schwarzenegger, that's great. I don't care. As long as you go into the BCR technique and you're doing exactly as I lay this out for you, that's what you do. Okay? So whether you're doing the bare bones or where you're right here now, ready to go into extension healing and start working with your variants, do exactly as I laid out. Don't add anything. Okay? There's a reason why I tell you guys not to do these things, right? Because then you contaminate it. So just follow the process. It's very, very simple, right? You have the grounds for your own imagination to come to life here, right? You're going into your reinforcement space and it's your own unique space. That's your own creativity at work, okay? All we're doing in BCR is clearing out dense energy. We're lifting our love up. We're living inside the heart. And we realize that the outside reality is not the true reality. We're living inside the true reality. Now, whatever you do before and after is your decision. But when it's BCR time, I want you to follow the process I'm laying out here. Okay? Don't deviate from it. Okay, so thank you for your question. Mima says, hi Brad, for the extension, do we need to start from our youngest memories, or can we begin from any time in our memory that is maybe more vivid to start? Well, just to avoid confusion, I would suggest starting as young as you can, okay? This is why I often suggest that you start off with a newborn baby, okay? So you start off with the newborn baby and you try to work your way up. Maybe you have gaps in between, and that's okay. Just start from the beginning of your life and just put these markers to where you feel you are consciously aware of certain traumatic situations that you've been going through, right? This is your major life events from the time that you were a baby to where you are right now. And just look at those milestones, those markers that you create, okay? Because here's a traumatic situation when I was a kid. Here's a traumatic situation when I was a teenager. Here's a traumatic situation when I was 21 years old, okay? We're marking those out. Those are major life events. That's what we're familiar with. That's what we can work with. So now we bring those variances into the reinforcement space as we do BCR, okay? So please, guys, just do this exactly as I have shared with you because this works, okay? Don't worry about trying to change things up. I know people want to be inventive, but again, you have to do that in your own time, right? When you're doing the BCR technique, I just want you to follow this flow. I want you to follow this process because it works, okay? This is not restricting you in any way. You're going into your own universe, and you're creating anything that you want that brings out the greatest love energy to you. This is why it's complementary to the user, okay? So you're complementing yourself based upon this reinforcement space that you yourself are creating, okay? This is your love space, which means nothing that is dense or conflicting or traumatic survives here. It dies. Because we're bringing in love energy. We're filling ourselves with love. That's our goal, is to be above Mount Olympus, is to be above the gods, and now be God ourselves. Okay? That's what we're learning to do here. So it's very important that we stick with that process. Okay? So that's what I would suggest, is to start off for the newborn baby and work your way up into the present day based upon major events that you can recall consciously that you can now work on. Okay? And after you've done that, you can start working on other things, right? You can work with a memory spiral, and you can go to different areas that may have been, again, deeply buried in your subconscious, okay, that you're working to clear out. That, again, is where we have the memory spiral technique, okay? Very good. All right. Okay, this is from Infinity Mata 6369. Great name. Infinity says, sorry, I'm new here. Can we just use our pick to help the memory? Or no? If you're new here, Infinity, please don't do the memory spiral. Okay? Okay. If you're new here, and again, maybe I did not cover this, okay, you should not be doing this advanced level of healing on day 19 if this is brand new to you. Okay? So Infinity, what you need to do is you need to go into the video description. You need to click on the link for the video playlist for the BCR Technique 30-day challenge. Infinity, I don't want you working with day 19 off the bat. Okay? That's why it's day 19. You got to allot 30 days. Okay? And you're starting off in day number 1. Okay? So watch the day 0 video, watch the day 1 video, and just start from there. Okay? If you want to skip ahead and watch a few other videos, that's fine, but you're at day number 1 progress. Okay? So with the idea of the extension healing like I'm talking about right now, that is not viable until you're at day 19, which is why we're at day 19 right now. Okay? So Infinity, don't worry about this. This is advanced work throughout the 30-day challenge. I want you at the beginner level. Okay? I want you at day number 1, and then start working from day number 1 forward. Okay? Then when you reach day 19 through your time, now you'll understand what we're talking about. Okay? For those of you who are new, don't start doing this work that I'm talking about for day 19. Okay? Go to the video description, click on the playlist, start at day 0, and work your way up. Okay? Allot 30 days for yourself. Don't be doing day number 19 work when you're day number 1. Big no-no. Okay? Start with the basics. That's why I created the playlist. Okay? Okay, Jenna says, does Moldavite, Tektite help open the heart chakra? Well, that's not really what we're here to do, Jenna. Okay, we're not looking for crystals. Okay, I'm not really too concerned if it does or not. Okay, I've used Moldavite personally. Did it open up the heart chakra for me? Not one bit. Okay, it's mostly the idea that that can be a placebo. All right, but that's not what we're here to learn through BCR. Okay. So through BCR Technique, like I said, just do the process, guys. I don't need you worrying about crystals. I don't need you worrying about tarot. I don't need you worrying about being a bodybuilder. Okay? That's not important. As long as you're doing the flow of the BCR Technique, this is what's going to clean you. I said, keep your egos out of the BCR. Okay? We're not bringing in ego. We're not bringing intellectual curiosity. Brad, what about this? What about that? No. BCR is what I want you to focus on. Follow the process. If you guys have other questions, well, that's where the Friday New Earth TV Live comes in. Okay? We're here to talk about BCR. We're not here to talk about weightlifting. We're not here to talk about eating a good diet. We're not here to talk about the crystals. We're not here to talk about intellectual curiosity with Saint Germain's violet flame, anything of that nature, okay? That is outside of this topic. Let's stick with BCR. Do the BCR and let me know how it's working for you, okay? Go onto the Telegram group chat and talk to other people there because there's a lot of success stories. There's a lot of people who have been doing this from the beginning that are happy to help you if I'm not around. And they can answer a lot of questions for you as well too, okay? Let's stick with BCR, guys. This is the BCR Technique 30-day challenge, okay? So let's stick with BCR, work with BCR, and see what opens up through you through the BCR. Okay, thank you. Okay, Mima says, final question. I am doing the technique every day, following the steps. I have experienced benefits and I feel thankful. The only doubt is why I don't feel signs of HRV, only slight fainting. Okay, well, again, like I said, you want to make sure that you're active before you're doing heart rate variability. Okay, so like I said, you may want to go for a jog. You may want to have a cold shower. Okay, you want to get yourself active. Right? Sometimes if we're just coming into this and we're not very active, right? We're feeling like we're kind of out of sorts. We feel like we're a bit drifting, right? We're feeling a little bit fatigued. I don't want you doing BCR Technique if you're fatigued, okay? You want to make sure you get yourself active. So when you're active and alert and awake, you're not going to faint, okay? Now, also the idea is that you want to make sure that your breath is not restricted. Okay, so this is an important thing. And this is actually associated with BCR, so I'll answer it, okay? I'd like you guys to look into neti pots, okay? It's spelled N-E-T-I, okay? neti pots. We want to make sure that our breath is completely free-flowing, okay? If we have restrictions, like if we're only breathing through one nostril, if we're having a deviated septum or what have you, okay? That can be a challenge, especially if you're doing heart rate variability with nasal breathing, okay? That may represent that you're having some complications with your sinuses. You may have complications with deviated septums and so forth. So I'd like you to get a neti pot, okay? N-E-T-I. Now, there's a way that you can make the, you can use the neti pot here, okay? It's very similar to a Kriya Yoga process. What you're doing is you're taking some lukewarm water and you're adding maybe about half a teaspoon of Himalayan crystal salt or sea salt, okay, to it. And you're mixing it together in the pot. And what you're doing is you're just by a sink, okay? I have a neti pot downstairs actually, right? And what you're doing is you're just kind of slightly tipping your head and you're putting the neti pot nozzle in your left nostril, for example, and you're just lifting it a bit, right? You're breathing through the mouth, and all of that water is now spilling out the other nostril, okay? And you're just letting out that, you're just kind of blowing out the air, but you're not doing it strongly. You're just doing a very, very gentle release of all of that water buildup from your nostril, okay? Once you've done that, you just do the other side, okay? And you're just tipping the pot, right? And you're feeling all the water coming in, and it's coming out the other nostril. You're breathing through the mouth, okay? And then you're just slowly expelling all of that water from the nostrils gently, okay? You're not going, right, really, really hard, because that can damage things, okay? So a gentle blowing out of the excess water, okay? What I'd like you guys to do is go on YouTube and look at some neti pot demonstrations, okay? Someone using a neti pot, all right? And that's something that you can work with. You can find neti pots on Amazon, okay? So grab a neti pot, because this is very helpful to BCR. This is why I'm bringing it up, because we want to make sure we have good breath when we're doing BCR technique, when we're doing heart rate variability, okay? So you're cleaning out your sinuses, you're cleaning out your nasal passages, okay? And this is going to help you breathe a lot better. And you want to do this every morning, okay? So if you have complications with breathing with the nose, we want to make sure we're doing this every morning with a neti pot, okay? So again, go onto YouTube, type in neti pot demonstration or neti pot exercise, see what comes up, watch some of those videos so you can see, you can get a visual demonstration of what the neti pot can do for you, okay? So we want to clear away any blockages in the sinuses, in the nose. We want to make sure we have unobstructed breathing. Very important, because if we don't and we start doing heart rate variability, then Mima, that may be why you're feeling faint. You're not getting enough oxygen in your body, right? And you're basically breathing in with long durations as well too, okay? That can make you feel like fainting because your body's not getting enough oxygen, okay? You have a lot of obstruction here. It could be up in the inner nostril as well too, okay? So we want to make sure that our noses are clean, okay? And if you need to, set your time lower, okay? So if you're just starting out, if you're having a difficult time breathing, try 3 seconds in and 5 seconds out, or 4 seconds in and 6 seconds out, and then maybe 5 seconds in and 7 seconds out, okay? So start a second lower, okay? So again, I have to be careful because I don't know what your breathing situations are, okay? I don't know the conditions of your noses. I don't know the conditions of your sinuses, right? So we want to start off very, very small. This is why I'm being cautious, okay? Start at a level that is suitable for you, right? So if that's 3 seconds in, 5 seconds out, do that, okay? So that's what I would suggest for you, Nemo, okay? So look into a neti pot, everybody. Okay. Allison asks, can I combine memories such as arguments with family? It's everything that's happening to you, Allison, okay? So whether you're arguing with family, whether you're stuck in traffic, whatever it is, this is all happening to you, okay? You're the center. So if you are recalling a memory where you're arguing with family, yes, of course. You're bringing in your variant, okay? You're not bringing in family variants yet, okay? We are going to be working with family, but not yet, right? We're going to do a couple more days of this advanced extension healing, okay? I still got a couple more days I want to share with you guys. And then we're going to go into extended healing pertaining to other family members, okay? So that's kind of like where realignment method meets BCR technique. We'll be getting into that in the next few days, Right now, all I want you to do is I want you to heal your variance, okay? And this is going to take you time. This is not going to be something that's done in 2 or 3 days. This is going to take you weeks, and this could take you months to do that. But nonetheless, you can come back to these videos and you can look it up, all right? So we're going to get to family healing, friend healing a little bit later on, but not yet, okay? So all I want you to do right now, focus on your variants and clear them, okay? Very good. Okay, guys, we're going to wrap up for today. Thank you so much once again for being here. And again, please feel free to join the Telegram community if you have not already, if you have additional questions for me, okay? So we'll be back again, day number 20 tomorrow, for some more advanced extension healing information, okay? Thank you so much, guys. Talk to you tomorrow. Take care, and may it be well with you. Goodbye.